With having kids and, really being plugged in, dialed in as a dad in this area, what would you say your impression is of kind of the schools and, kind of the social life and things you can like plug your family into as a group?
Sure. Yeah. So my wife is lucky enough to stay at home with the two girls, which God bless her. I know that's a much tougher job than I have.
Yeah. How old are they right now?
So my oldest daughter is 2, and the youngest is 5 months.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. So she's going through the thick of it now, but we're getting through it. But Jupiter Commerce Park, JCP, on Indiantown, just renovated like a playground, and it's all turf, really nice area, a couple minutes from the house. So that's great. There's also another good park and aquatic center that has like a splash pad for little kids in Palm Beach Gardens. I think it's Palm Beach Gardens Aquatic Center. It's right on Burns Road.
Right. So
that's a good spot. Play on the playground for an hour, get all sweaty, and then go hop in the splash pad and cool off on a nice hot summer day. Mm-hmm. So Haley loves that. My daughter loves that. I think Jupiter, especially northern Palm Beach County, is a great spot to raise a family. And I know firsthand because I was one of those kids that was that grew up here. But the schools are great. You've got Lighthouse Elementary, Jupiter Elementary, Jupiter Farms Elementary. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I think, out of 10, which is how they grade the school systems, I think they're all above an 8 with elementary schools. So yeah, it's a great school system, and overall just like a great community to raise a kid.
Right. Now, so the kids are a little young at this point, so I'm not sure like how much exposure maybe you've heard from other people, like with the schools here in the area, do they really involve the parents in the teaching process? Because there's completely different philosophies like across the country. Some of them, like parents are a big part of the overall process. In some places, like kind of feels like teachers are almost trying to edge them out a little bit. So do you remember from going through the process, or have you heard from any friends with kids, like kind of an impression on what the philosophy is here?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
My friends are all of their kids are kind of 2
About the
to
same
3,
age, yeah.
4 years old. So we haven't been able to experience that yet, but maybe in like 5 years, I'll hop on another podcast and let you know.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You all heard that here first. So we're going to do it in 3 years, 5 years, 5 years. Outstanding. So you also have a really interesting business with the FiveStar properties. Can you talk about that a little bit? Just, what it is and everything you guys do?
Yeah. So we have quite a few different programs within our management company. So FiveStar Properties is a property management company in Palm Beach County. So we handle everything from vacation rentals like Airbnbs.
Right.
So we manage nearly 100 single-family homes from Jupiter to Boca. We actually just expanded into St. Lucie County and Martin County last year. So we're growing north, stay out of Miami as much as we can. Logistically, it's tough.
Yeah.
Traffic, just a lot of people. So our goal is to expand north. And then we have what we call an estate management program. This is typically, your multi-million-dollar homes where we are coordinating with vendors, just kind of overseeing the house itself. So some, people refer as like a house manager, right? And then we have a home watch program, separate program, and that's more for your seasonal residents that may live at the house 2 months, 4 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, and then we call them snowbirds down here, right? So that is starting at like $60 a month. So very like low entry, but just kind of like exterior checks, checking on the house, major appliances, storm prep, right? If we have a hurricane coming in, we'll board up the house, make sure everything's secure. So yeah, that's kind of our three different programs. We started out with the vacation rentals, and that was about 9 years ago now, and we've built out to, like I said, close to 100 homes. And the other two programs, the home watch and the estate management, are fairly newer programs. So looking to kind of have a package for everyone.
Right. So with the short-term stuff, I've seen all the TikTok reels. I've run the math and all that. Like, that looks very lucrative. I can see why it's taking off in South Florida. How many can you, like, I don't know, ballpark it? Any idea like how much of the people here in this area do short-term rentals? Because it seems like a no-brainer if you live here for part of the year that you're going to try to cover at least the mortgage through doing something like that. So I don't know. Do you have any ballpark idea?
I can tell you that 9 years ago when we started, like, let's just say West Palm Beach, for example, there was like 1,500 listings in West Palm, and now there's about 6,000. It's about 4 times more. It's really grown, the short-term rental, both market and the amount of homes that are being listed as a short-term rental. I'll tell you a quick little story. My wife and I owned a house in West Palm Beach, and we had an annual tenant in there, and this was like right when we started, actually before we even started the business. Airbnb started to become a bit more popular. So
right.
The tenant's lease was ending. I was like, hey, let's give it a try. This is probably me being, spontaneous and a bit. That's probably why she says that. But I said, hey, let's give it a shot. And so I want to say we brought in close to 4 times as much on Airbnb as we were on an annual rental. And that's what really kind of started the business.
Right.
So we bought a few more properties and self-managing them. And, I was working in construction as an estimator for a large construction company. And, I was working 60, 70 hours a week, grinding it out, a little bit of stress. And, I saw, kind of a need for management. So we started that 9 years ago now, and went from 0 properties to 100 in just a few years.
I can definitely understand how that would happen. Anyone who's ever done short-term rentals, you mentioned like 4x the amount of income and like the profit and all that, but it's also like 4 times the amount of hand-holding and
yeah,
everything else that goes along with it. So for some people, temperament-wise, like, they are made for it, and other people, probably a good idea just to hire somebody, because you don't want to have to explain to the 12th person this month where the TV remote is and where the batteries are and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah. With the whole short-term rental process, like, it's a lot more hands-on.
Yes.
So, we've built really good systems, through trial and error over the years, to, make it as, stress-free as possible. But yeah, being a father, let's say a husband and wife with a couple kids that have an investment property, self-management is tough.
Yeah.
Getting messages at midnight on a Monday night because, someone can't get in the front door, right? That's tough. And hiring a management company is worth it, as long as they're bringing in, an additional 20%, right?
Right.
So like a standard property management fee for short-term rentals is 20%. If the management company is bringing in 20% more revenue, it's a wash for you, and then you freed up all your time.
Yeah.
Right. So that's our goal.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're from out of state, just freeing up your time and just out of sight, out of mind, like that's so worth it. Okay. Now I'm going to let you decide if you want to like answer this or not. I know one of the critiques from people wanting to get into home ownership is, there's so many short-term rentals. There's not anything available because of, this asset class of investing. How would you respond to that? Because I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard that.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, there's definitely been an influx of investors coming into Palm Beach County, specifically for short-term rentals. You just have to buy it right.
Right.
I think that a lot of investors that come down there are buying a turnkey, furnished house for $800,000, let's say, and are expecting this, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home to bring in $12,000 a month. It's probably not going to happen, right? So, a good way to kind of like force equity into the house is to buy a house that's not completely remodeled and not fully furnished and doesn't look great in pictures right now, right? And get a good deal on that and, renovate it and furnish it. And then you're kind of, you're walking into equity, and then, you have a mortgage that's reasonable that you can actually cash flow on.
Right. Absolutely. Now, you also mentioned like working with more of like the luxury type properties out there as well. Like what's the, I guess, the approach, the mindset of somebody like in that like 1% of 1% where, they can have multiple multi-million-dollar properties. I mean, I worked with a guy before where I think it was like a $1.5 million property, like just absolutely beautiful. But to him, it was a flop house. He was there maybe 2-3 times out of the entire year. And like, we're just standing in this big, like 6,000 square foot house.